There's a very big difference between intelligent and smart in there.
Yeah.
Like, I always thought it was the same thing, but it's completely different.
Yeah.
Like, intelligent people are fucking the dumbest people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Book smart and common sense smart. Like,
Yeah. And
you got to
value the time. Yeah, exactly. And then I think that's the biggest thing is just there's no off days when you have a business. Like my brain doesn't stop. Like Chrissy reckons she can hear me thinking while I'm asleep. Like it doesn't.
Oh, that's the D and the I, mate, coming out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, 100%.
But that's just, well, I guess, like, is it business? Like, is your brain not stopping just because of business?
No, it's never stopped. Like it's.
Yeah, like for some people that's all right. Like people tell me I'm crazy because that's the case, but for me that's freedom. Like for me, sitting down somewhere quietly on my own for too long will drive me nuts. G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of Level Up. We are back in the shed this afternoon for another cracking episode. Got the big boy with us today, Todd Murry from TKM Building. How are you, buddy?
I'm pumped, mate. Good to be here.
Mate, I'm stoked to have you. We've had some pretty good conversations over the past few years, but your growth and where you've come from is pretty unbelievable. But I'm going to kick the podcast off by saying, like, you're not what I expected.
I'll take that. I hope that's a good thing, mate.
Look, it's funny. You talk to people on the phone and stuff. Like, obviously, when you reached out to you're a member of Live Life Build.
Yep.
And talking on the phone is like it's just a voice. You don't really I don't picture what people look like. But then you turned up not long. Like, it was only like 2 or 3 months after you joined, I think, that you turned up to a live event.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, like you're a big burly bloke, tats, like that's not what I was expecting.
The quiet voice on the phone, mate.
But, mate, who knows where this conversation will go today. I think there's a lot to talk about. I really appreciate you guys coming on and telling your stories on this podcast because that's what inspires other people to realise that they're not doing it on their own. Like, it seems to be the case with a lot of the building industry. So
yeah, I appreciate the opportunity, mate. I think it's podcasts like this, especially yours, it sort of, opened doors for me to, I suppose, one, to join Live Life Build and sort of start the journey of, bettering yourself and going from there, I suppose.
So before we get into like the last couple of years, like, take us back. Like, what's the story? Where have you come from? What have you done?
Well, I've only had my builder's license for, I think it's about 5 years now. So before that, wasn't a real typical straight path, apprenticeship, jump into that. So pretty much I went to Wollongong with my oldies, or with my mum actually. So we went there pretty much as soon as I dropped out of year 11, signed myself out of school, much to mum's disgust. I got home one day with the signed paperwork. And then not long after that we moved to Wollongong and I jumped into doing, pretty much learned how to surf for the first 4 months, spent that there and then worked with a bloke doing coping around pools. That's sort of my first introduction to, hard labour. But my old man's a builder. So I've been on job sites with him, when I was a kid, doing things like that. And then he rang me, there was an opening, so he offered me an apprenticeship. I think I just turned 19. So I moved back to Narrandera, jumped in an apprenticeship with him and did 3 years with him. Mate, he's like, we butt heads, like we're on the job site and, but out of work, like we're really good mates, go camping together, do all that sort of shit. But on the job site, I think we're just too much alike. So 3 years, I was 3 years in and then my brother kicked off his apprenticeship. So we were just blowing all the time, like the 3 of us.
So you, your brother and your old man all on the one job site?
Yeah, so I was 3rd year when my brother signed up. He's 4 years younger. So that was sort of, fireworks most days. So it was pretty interesting 6 months. And then my old man's just like, fuck, this is enough. So he ran one of his mates, he's a concreter. They were working an hour away with a company from Victoria. So they had an opening. So I jumped on with those boys, they were doing refurb concrete works at treatment plants and things like that. So I jumped on with them, finished my apprenticeship with those boys. And I loved it. Like they were staying at pubs. I was 19, so they lived in the pubs. They travelled around for work. So I was like, packed up my unit I had and pretty much hit the road with them. The old man rang. He's like, when are you coming back? So I'm not. So I stayed with these boys for, I would say, 3 or 4 years. Travelled around, lived in different parts of the country, like Victoria, mostly Victoria. Lived in some towns down there, Leongatha, Inverloch. And then Christy moved down with us. I think we're living in Inverloch, so she came down there for 6 months, ended up working in the office on site. It just got too much. We wanted to sort of settle down a bit, so we went back home. Moved back home with the plan to save money to go overseas, and we ended up having Amelia. So with 16 years, we're still there. So and then drifted in and out of like chippy work, subcontracting most of the time. It's pretty much a subby since I finished my time. Went back with my old man, and then jumped on with a building company in Narrandera, pretty much sort of supervising a lot of their staff for 2 or 3 years, and then jumped in to do fly and fly out. So I did that for close to 4 years, I reckon, between Queensland, Western Australia, and then about 2 years in Darwin on the gas plants up there. Then came back and just really went concreting, formwork at home, like bathrooms, carpentry. In New South Wales, you don't, for commercial work, you don't need a licence. So we did a lot of...
What, any commercial work?
No. Don't need a builder's licence for commercial work in New South Wales. So
what?
we're doing like, $200,000, $300,000 jobs with no builder's licence, mostly for the council. So we got in with them. So we're doing a lot of their like refurb work and stuff like that. So
What, look, you can do structural work with no licence. Like
Yep.
you got to be licensed concrete or carpenter or something.
like I had a carpenter's ticket, but that's, so no licence needed for commercial work. I think it's slowly changing. I think it's New South Wales and I think Northern Territory, the only 2 states where you don't have to.
Yeah, right.
So I did that for sort of 2 or 3 years, built up the business, had an apprentice, and then I signed up to do RPL, so recognition of prior learning, to get my builder's licence, and opened the email and pretty much just shit myself with how much work there was to do that. I think there was like 70 questions of practical, 70 of like, and there was like multiple questions inside that. So I think the government was a bit of a rebate for that. So I think it was $1,500 to get your builder's licence. So I signed up thinking it was going to be a piece of piss. They failed me 2 or 3 times, and each time they charged me, like I think it's like $1,500. I was up to about $6,000, and Christy's like, if you do not finish this fucking course, like, and saying they're trying to run a business, 2 young kids, like it was just, I just kept putting it on the back burner, but they kept charging me money every time the expiry date would sort of finish.
So you're trying to do all your course and everything after hours and night time?
Yeah. So, and then it was just, I had the guys that were running it, they were pretty shit outfit. And the guys that I would talk to, I suppose my assessor, I went through 3 or 4. One tried to extort me like $5 or $6,000 to like sign me off, said he'd fly down if I paid this. And I was like, fuck. And in the end, like he got the arse. It was a long story, but in the end, some people I know hit me up they went own a builder and then to do their extension for them. So we jumped in to do that, and my last assessor was awesome. He's like, mate, if you document the job, that's pretty much all you'll need. So I documented that. Had a hernia injury just before that, so I got all the paperwork done during that time.
Yeah.
And then just did the practical stuff on this job site and got signed off then. I thought it was all done and dusted, and then, like, as you know, like all the steps the hurdles you have to jump through to get your licence and then your home warranty and all that. So then that's where we got to. So now, I got the builder's licence 2020, I think. So we did the whole COVID period like on that job pretty much, which was a bit of a blessing really. Like, it was all cost plus. So, and here we are, fast forward 5 years, and we've been 2 apprentices now. The first apprentice didn't last. I think he did 2 years and sort of wasn't for him. I think that's when I joined sort of Elevate around that time. Like he finished up, and then we're just in a pretty shitty space. Signed up another apprentice and sort of went from there, and he's still with us. He's just about hit 4th year now, and we've got a 1st year, and things are good. So
just I want to go back to your school days, because there's a lot of young people that listen to the podcast. They quite often reach out. They're not sure what they're going to do when they finish school and things. So, and I like to open up the can of worms about like what did you drop out in year 11?
I just hated it. Like school wasn't for me. Like I think as you learn the trade and everything, I suppose going through school, you're told that you'll never amount to anything. Like you're stupid pretty much. Like you'll never go anywhere, you'll end up in jail or something like that. Like, you know, I had plenty of teachers tell me that.
But is it like, because I'm exactly the same, but like, were you not interested? Like, I just couldn't, I wasn't interested. Like, I just wanted to be outside.
No, and I think even now, like when I find things I'm interested in, like I'm hyper focused on it. Where school just didn't fit that bill. Like it was just always ask the question of like, where am I going to use this? And it's funny, like I hear my younger daughter say the same thing to me now. So it's, but I think it's just the way I'm built.
And what do you tell her?
Like school's not for everyone, and she asked me the same thing. Like, well, I'm never going to use it. I'm like, no, you're not. But like, it's just part of, you know, get through year 10 and then see where you need to go. And I think she'll look down that route, like leaving school. Like she really loves beauty, like beautician sort of stuff. And
Yeah.
I think if she's not really implementing herself at school, then like we would look at that route. But whether she did TAFE or something like that outside of school, but yeah, I just think like the focus is when you're not interested in something, like I would zone out.
Yeah.
I'm even like that with work. Like even when I would say fly in, fly out, like if I didn't get given a task for that day, I would just like, I'd lose interest pretty much and just, I'm gone for the day. But
yeah, I just got my big dog Walter outside the shed barking at something. If you just said that, it's not Todd or I, but anyway. But I think like for younger people that are thinking about getting into the trade, like there is a lot, like there's heaps of shit that I was just not interested at all in school. And even if I was and I had done well of it, I don't use the shit now.
no.
Like as long as you know your basic English, grammar, like that's one thing I wish I had to put more time into. But like I was good at maths. Like obviously you got to be good at maths to be a tradie.
Yeah.
But as long as you're good at the basics. But I think one thing I just want to stress for younger people that are listening and maybe older people as well, but you don't have to be a straight A or a B student to do well in life, all to be a successful construction worker.
Not at all. I agree 100%. I think, like I said before, like with that school, I suppose that's the thing you get told to start to believe it. And then thinking about that and saying that, like my two apprentices, they both left in year 10 to start, so they're quite young. They were told the same thing. And the young fella, he's a bit shy, but he sort of talks about that as well. And he said, oh, you know, like he would beat himself up a lot about not being smart or like this and that. I said, mate, like, I wouldn't have hired you if I didn't think you're intelligent enough to do the job. So I think like they've got bright futures in the trade. Like they're smart, you know, they're good with their hands. They can think outside the box. And I think when you're not interested in school, like you can think outside the box. And when you get into the workforce, if you can utilise that, like you can go a long way.
There's a very big difference between intelligent and smart in there.
Yeah.
Like I always thought it was the same thing, but it's completely different.
Yeah.
Like intelligent people are fucking the dumbest people. like it's, like, you know what I mean? Like,
I know what you're saying. Yeah,
there's a life smart.
Yeah,
like
book smart and
book smart and common sense smart. Like,
and it doesn't go real far in the real world, unfortunately. Like it's just, and you bump into those people a lot. I don't know how they've got to where they are, but you know, you meet people like that and you just think, how the fuck did you get into that position? But whether it's who they knew or whatever. But I think
everyone plays a role on this planet, I guess. Like everyone's got their own strengths and weaknesses. But I'm the same, mate. It blows my mind. Like you're into your camping, so I'm sure you've been in this situation. Like we've been camping and like whether it's with a group of friends or whatever, and there's been other people there that we don't know, and like I don't know. Probably the best examples I talk about quite a bit is it blows my mind that there's grown men out there that can't start a fire. and you have a conversation with them, and they're a finance broker or a bank manager or an accountant. Like they're very intelligent people. Yeah, but they can't survive in the wilderness for 5 seconds to save their life.
Yeah. I don't know if I should say it, but Christy calls them handy husbands. She goes, imagine not having a handy husband, like just having to do everything yourself. And same thing, go camping and just nothing's organised. I don't know what to do. And
we're going to stir some worms up with this podcast. But anyway, that's what it's all about. But no, I just want to get that out there because I think, like I know what I went through and you and I have spoken about it. And I know there's a lot of people that, like younger people that listen to these types of podcasts. And if you're going through that and you're at school and you're thinking that you're a drop kick or you're not going to amount to anything because of some shit your teacher's saying to you or based on the scores and marks you're getting on your report card, like it really doesn't mean anything.
No, No, and I don't think like the tests and everything don't reflect, your individual sort of, I suppose, talent or what you're good at. So I do say to my youngest daughter, like, you will find something that you're good at. Like, I'm not really worried about you failing your maths test or whatever. Like, she can, multiply, do all that sort of stuff. Like, but the algebra and all that sort of stuff, I said, like, you'll find something that you're passionate about. She's very much like me. She'll find what she's passionate about and she'll dig into that and she'll do really well at it.
Yeah.
So I think that's important to sort of find something that you enjoy doing. It's hard when you're young because you sort of have to just take any job to start with, I suppose. But after a while, you can sort of find something that you're passionate about and move into that area.
So to move on a bit, mate, like what position were you at? Like what made you reach out and join Elevate?
So like I said, my old man's a builder. A lot of other builders I've worked for. I thought that was my goal eventually to sort of, to get my license, be a builder. You have no clue what's involved. I think when you're a chippy, you're running jobs and stuff, like you think it'll be a piece of cake. But I think for me, like watching my old man, brilliant carpenter, but like the business side of things, I think it's that like that generation as well. Like no one could really tell you how to price a job. Like I didn't even know what an overhead was before I joined Elevate. Like we were putting 12%, 13% on jobs and getting into the job. I'm like, where the fuck's all the money? Like I almost accused Christy of hiding it and thinking she's going to run away with my cash. Like where's all the money? Like, but I think, and I didn't want to go down that road. I didn't want to get my license, bash away for 5-10 years and then just think like there's got to be a better way. I always thought from day one there has to be a better way. And like I said, we're doing those commercial jobs and things like that. And we're doing $200,000-$300,000 jobs, walking away with no money at the end of it. And then it wasn't until we reached out and got help and coaching that we realised like the overheads were coming out of my wage, like of what I was charging and things like that, where I had no clue about any of that stuff. And I think that was like the thing that really pushed me to reach out, but it wasn't like I didn't really know where to turn. Like I read a couple of books and stuff and listened to podcasts and all that sort of stuff, and then found your podcast. And we're driving down to a mate's place. They live 8 hours from us, so I think it was you only had 8 or 9 at the time. So I went through all your podcasts at the time and sort of learnt more about that. And then that led into getting help. Like that was the big thing. I didn't want to start off just running a shit show and like learn from day one how to run a good business, because I didn't even know like the difference between building a builder and running a building business. Like they're two different things, I think. Yeah.
It's been massive. Like it's been amazing seeing your growth, but not just yours, like Chrissy's as well, your family, like your everything in your life's improved dramatically, hasn't it, in the last 3 years?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Like from where we were 3 years ago, like I said, when the apprentice quit, we didn't have much work in the pipeline. That was sort of, I'd only just joined Elevate then. And I'll probably touch on it later, but it's more like a lot of the self-belief stories and like same thing, like the environment you grow up in, the teachers you hear, all the shit that you have filled or you fill your head up on, and you start to believe it after a while. And then as you go through life, like you sort of start to piece things together, but you still have that self-doubt about what you can sort of achieve or what you can do.
And on top of that, like I know one of the things that you spoke to me several times about when you were thinking about signing up was like you're in a small town. And I think you probably asked me about 50 times, like, will this work in a small town? Like,
100%, because
it's gonna...
Same thing, like you're just told like that won't work here. You can't do that. People won't pay you for pre-construction. This won't and it's all bullshit because like that's what we do now. Like we don't do any jobs outside of pack process. Like we know our numbers, we're making a profit. Like it works. Like it's, whether you're in a town of like 5,000, 6,000 people where we are, or a bigger city, like it definitely works.
Yeah, 100%. But you've improved every area. Like you're even on bloody socials now, doing videos of your jobs and educating people. Like you've definitely implemented everything. Like there's a big difference in there between people that, and you've seen it in your time in Elevate. Like there's a difference between people that just sign up and just sit there behind the scenes to the ones that actually implement it and get the results from it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, like a plan without action just stays a plan. Like it just stays something written on a piece of paper until you actually action it, and put your money where your mouth is, I suppose, and follow it up. And like there's no two ways to put it. Like it's hard. Like the shit's hard. But like, it's hard not doing it as well. Like, it's still hard not knowing your numbers. It's hard like burying your head in the sand. Like, it's still hard.
So how have you found time to make it happen? Because everyone's the same. Like everyone says they got no time, but you've made the time to make it work.
Yeah, scheduling, and I think like bullshitting myself as well. Like, I would say I don't have time, but really it's like, well, what am I doing with my time? So, same thing. I like self-educate. I read a lot of books, and it was more auditing my time, I suppose, and reflecting on what I'm actually doing with my time. And I think like it wasn't until I spoke to you about scheduling and stuff like that, and it's like, what do you do? What do you use? And I was using an app, and then I've jumped onto Google Calendar now, and pretty much like
It's simple, eh? Like
everything's scheduled. Like my morning routine. I get up, I do that. You know, go to the office, do what I have to do, have breakfast, and then I think and then the time too. Like, it was realizing how much time I was wasting through, I suppose, not what'd you say, like respecting my own time. Like, I would give my time to so many people instead of my family. It wasn't until the girls started getting older, I'm like, fuck, like I'm wasting so much time running around after people that don't really care. And then sort of going, well, I want to take that time back and have that time for me. And I think like the biggest thing was like business hours and things like that. Like, I would take a phone call like halfway through dinner. Like, the phone rings, it's just that scarcity mindset of like, fuck, I need to take this call to get to work. Just things like that, until I sort of respected my own time and
value. You gotta
value my time. Yeah, exactly. And then putting, I suppose, those things in place, and then blocking out my time for that. And then it's just working on the business, like going through the stuff in Elevate, the 6P wheel, just blocking out time and working on what you need to work on. Identifying that has been massive. But like, in saying all that, like knowing your numbers and everything is one thing. Like, all these things are great, but unless if you're not happy in what you're doing, like, all that means jack shit, really. Like, it's like, that's what I found. Like,
and that's what I meant at the beginning. Like when I first met you, like, holy shit, like this is this big burly bloke, and he's like, the more I've got to know you, like, you've been very vulnerable in a lot of the stuff, not just in the conversations that we've had, but within our community.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but for me, that was a turning point. Like, it's all good to be around other people and get this advice and knowledge, but until I was true to myself and was vulnerable enough to put my hand up and go, fuck, it's me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand this shit. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah. 100%. I think like vulnerability is massive. Like, some of the, the videos I put up in, in the Facebook group, like, I've had people reach out. It got to a point where I think like the first 10, 15 videos you do, like, you're shit scared. You don't really want to sort of say too much, but I think you build on that, you get feedback, and then it was, mate, I don't know, 18 months in, 2 years in, like, I did a video, like, just on the spot, like, about how much it sort of changed my life personally for the better. A better father, better husband, better friend, like, better just all around. And then I sort of laid it all out there, bared my soul, and I think the feedback from that, I had like 4 or 5 other people sort of reach out and say, your video, like, that was fucking unreal. And like, that's made me like, not pull the pin, keep working hard at what we're doing, like, it will pay off. So I think vulnerability is massive. And then like the doors that's opened for me, sort of, 3 years ago, like, I wouldn't have dreamed of sort of saying these things, to people, or like, just, I was probably afraid of what people would say or the judgment and how that would reflect on the business and things like that.
That sort of thing's big in a small town, isn't it? Like,
100%.
They like, in a small town, there's not a lot of place you can hide.
No. And it's like, you see, like, everyone's there. So like, it's exactly that. There's nowhere to hide. And it is, I suppose it kept me, especially doing socials and things, for a long, long time. I remember talking to Amelia about it, like, at the very first live event, and she just deadpan asked me, she's like, what are you really afraid of? And I'm like, I don't know. Well, I knew deep down it was just judgment of other people and what they and the shit I would cop, like, from the concreters and the tradies and the you start to second guess yourself and like, will it work? But we've powered on, keep doing the socials, and like the feedback we get from our socials and the inquiry that brings in has just elevated everything to the clients that we want to work for now. I think it attracts a certain type of client and the people that we want to work for. And then that sort of leads into having the courage to sort of say no to jobs that you don't want to do, where before I would have like dropped everything to take those jobs, fill your pipeline, and you're there thinking, why the fuck am I doing this job? Like,
Like education is like power. Like knowledge is power. Like the more, like I feel it changes everything. Like people don't believe me especially when they're doing their calls with me and I'm talking them through the overhead calculator and stuff, and I'm telling them like once you get this, like it will change everything. It'll change the way you show up. It'll change the conversation you have with people. It'll change the response you have to designers, architects, like potential clients. But number one, it will change your confidence. Like when you know your numbers and all your data in your business, like knowledge is power. So that power gives you confidence that you can say no to the jobs that you're going to do your ass on. And I don't know, like the universe gives back what you put out. Like I don't know how it works, but when you start doing that, good shit starts coming your way.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And like when the penny does drop, especially with the overheads and things like that, like, and you do, you see like people talk about it all the time, like members inside Elevate, just in general of like, I think when you do find that confidence to say no to those jobs, like they don't even sit right with them. Like, from the very first phone call, you're like, this is like, I shouldn't even take this job.
Yeah.
Just politely decline, but you like at the start, you still take it. But after you sort of start to say no a few times, like exactly what you said, like the universe just works in funny ways and starts to open doors. And when one thing, like one door closes, another one opens. And the more I've lent into that, like the more that's become a reality. And like, you sort of can't really believe like when you do first join up and then I suppose work through all that, the doors that will open, once you sort of start to have that confidence to move through that. Yeah.
Like stories is one, it's been a big thing for you, haven't it? Like I know you really struggled with a lot of old stories that you were telling yourself from the way you brought up and what people are going to think and that sort of thing. But you just mentioned before we started recording today, we were talking about accounting and stuff. And can we talk a little bit about you've just changed to a company?
Yeah.
But the reason that's taking so long to happen is because of stories that you were telling yourself, but you said that you picked up on your old accountant telling herself stories.
Yeah, that's funny. Like 100%. Yeah, so we're a partnership up until the end of this financial year, and I think even sort of moving through the years of Elevate, talking to different people. I spoke to you about it at a live event, and it was funny sort of how it was met to. And like people like couldn't really believe it was still a partnership, and they said, "Oh, you should be a company by now for asset protection, all these sorts of things." But we sort of, she's a great accountant, but there was just different things about why we shouldn't do it. And I wasn't privy to it. Like same thing, like it was, we learn our numbers, project management, all that sort of stuff that we've learned over the last few years. That sort of financial side, the company side wasn't something we really dug into much. I was just talked to a few people about it, but everyone has their own story about moving through it. But so she actually retired anyway, that accountant. So we found a new accountant. She's local. She's about an hour away, which is local to us where we live. And she's amazing. Like she's young. She's like all the things I want to talk about. Like I would come to meetings with the overhead calculator and like want to run through the numbers and like project the revenue and all these sorts of things. Where she's like she froths on that. Like she loves it. So it's been a bit of a match made in heaven. And she's given us different ideas about things that we want to do in the future and how to structure those things, and just sort of build like sort of, future wealth.
But now that you've got a taste of that part, like how exciting is it?
Oh, I love it. It's all I do. Like I read books on real estate and investing and like what I'm going to do with my money and like, because I have no super because I subbed pretty much from the time I finished and you're young, you don't care about that shit.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I did fly and fly out that I actually got some money in my super and then sort of, I think it was talking to those people too, like doing fly and fly out that are actually making sort of good money and start to learn where to put money and things like that. I was like, hang on a minute, like I need to sort of start thinking about my future. So it wasn't until, like I struggled like when we were younger financially with a lot of things, made a lot of dumb decisions. It's really sort of only been the last, I don't know, like.
But we're not taught, mate. Like we don't.
No.
We don't. They don't talk about this shit at school.
No, not one bit.
And it's ridiculous.
It's funny, as I just said before, like I was talking to one of my mates today and both things, like financially illiterate, like have no clue, like family really didn't really talk about that stuff when you're younger. It wasn't until like we've gotten older talking about this stuff more and more and the people that you meet, same thing, like he drives cranes in the mine. So he's talking about real estate now and like how to sort of, save tax, all these different things that you learn as you get older. Exactly what you said. Like, you don't get taught these things in school. It's all self-taught stuff and
But
learning.
it does become addictive, Matt, because it like people until you sort of become a bit privy to it, it can seem like it's a world away and it's
Oh,
unachievable.
feels like a mile away. Yeah.
I bang on all the time. Like you've got to talk to people that have done what you're wanting to do. Like, and you really don't have to earn a huge amount of money.
No.
Like someone that's earning like 100 grand's a pretty standard wage these days, really.
Yeah.
Like if you're earning 100 grand, there's no reason that you can't become a property multi-millionaire within 5 to 10 years.
No.
If you're putting that money with the right people, investing it in the right places and setting your structures up correctly.
Yeah.
And I'm the same as you, mate. Like I just froth at sitting down with the accountant and the financial advisor, running through the numbers, like just hearing what's possible. If you save this bit here and you put that bit there, that's going to get you to here. Like it's just like, and then that just makes me want more and more and more. Like,
Yeah.
and not so I can just have heaps of money, but my mind just doesn't stop spinning with like whatever, helping charities, helping family, like helping kids. Like,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Yeah, and like the more I've learnt too, like I love helping people out. Like there's a couple of young tradies back home, and they notice sort of what we've learnt, what we implement, how we run our business, and things like that, and sort of what we expect from our trades. And like the things they've asked me, and like to sort of be able to share those things with them. Like they're only sort of 25, something like that, but like asking all these sorts of questions about like, and they're young, like real estate and investing, and like we had nothing like until we bought our first house when we were sort of 27, but houses were cheap. I think we paid 90 grand for a house in Narangba. Like,
Yeah.
but over time we've worked on it, we've built it up. We've struggled to sort of get where you get to. But then after a while, like the more you learn, the more it snowballs. And then as you know, like you can start to grow your equity. You start to learn more things. How to structure it right is like a big thing, like we talked about before. Like I had no idea about any of that sort of stuff, and how you to structure different things, and the things that you learn and how to implement can save you like years of like learning the hard way. And exactly what you sort of said before, like it's I think reaching out to people too that are doing what you want to do and not listening to people that talk shit, because like they're not where I want to be. So
I don't know if you've experienced this, mate. I think you may have because of some of the conversations we've had, but I was surrounded for a long time. I was surrounded by family, friends that when those conversations come up or wherever, you might have been having dinner with friends or at a family function or whatever, and you like something come up about investment, there was always a negative to it. Like, oh, we can't achieve that, or we can't do that, or it's right for them, or their parents are wealthy, or like, there was just always something that would like badmouth the conversation or make it feel like it was out of reach.
Yeah.
But again, that's just because the
stories.
wrong people were in the room.
Yeah, and the stories they've been told, and
it's
I agree 100%. Like it's the same thing. Sort of you start to. I just stopped talking about it pretty much with those sort of groups of people. Like, still like all the family. Like my family's not too bad like that. That's sort of, if you want to go do that. Like that's good on you, good for trying. But I think once you sort of learn these things, and I suppose like you understand about yourself, about the stories that you've been told, the stories that you believe, and you sort of start to pick yourself apart. You start to do the work on yourself and learn these things. Like you start to see it in other people, and then I think like not judging them for that. I think has been like a big sort of learning curve for me. Like I would get frustrated and angry of like, how do you not see it? Like, and I was pretty pig-headed like that for a long, long time. Like I was angry, like I was pretty stubborn, pretty opinionated. And like, it took a long, long time of, just, I suppose the self-work for the anger and things like that to sort of.
So what are you? You've done the disc profiling with.
Yeah.
What were you?
ID. So,
ID?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the same as me.
Yeah. So like direct, like, don't stop. Like,
don't fuck around, no time for small talk, just get shit done.
Yeah, and Christy is like on the opposite side of that. So it's
do you know what she is?
No, I don't, but it's just for what we've learned, like she's on the bottom side of the circle of the disc profile.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that was interesting, and it was like their podcast was attached to the stuff that Helen gave us. I listened to that, and it was it blew me away. Like it's like they were just talking to me. Like they pulled me apart and just went like, this is why, this is how, this is, I was like, far out. Like I think learning that, well, just all the personal development stuff, mate. I think that we've talked about over the years, like even like the breath work that you do through Live Life Build at the live events, like they've been life changing for me. Like those moments.
Did you do breathwork before you come to live like that?
No, no. So the first one I did with Justin,
Kingscliff?
at Kingscliff, like completely changed my life. Like I went home, found a breathwork instructor. Like went and did private breathwork sessions with them. Like
Actually, I think I remember that. And you were driving a fair way, weren't you?
we're going an hour, drive an hour to do it. Yeah.
An hour's not that far, mate. At least in an hour, you probably go 100 kilometres.
Yeah.
Like this morning I left here in an hour and 15 minutes. I did 19 kilometres.
Oh, mate, I just think like an hour from the airport to here, I was like running along the turn. I was in the car for an hour and a half. But yeah, like those things like with Justin.
So
like,
what was the change? Like for people that don't do breath work, like what was the change?
I think just, I suppose, I don't even know how to explain the breath work. Like you sort of, I think it just takes away the chatter and I don't know what you call it. I suppose like the everyday brain that you have, and just the breath work sort of takes you to a place of, I suppose more of your subconscious mind is what I'd probably describe it as. And just like I went pretty deep, pretty quick on that very first session. Saw like, I felt like I left my body, like saw things, heard things, felt things, like it was like I just lived, like had a dream on the beach and then sort of came out of it. And like things have been lifted, I suppose, like it's hard to explain. Like just things have been unblocked, I suppose, for me to think clearly. And that sort of started to unfold different things for me and ask myself questions about that. So then, like I said, went home, did more breath work, found, I think it's Johannes, like found his stuff on YouTube and just did breath work at home, did his online stuff and sort of went down the rabbit hole with that. And then that led to the ice baths and all that sort of stuff. And
it's good stuff.
Built a freezer in the shed. And like just those things have taught me, I suppose, like taking that step back and not being so quick to judge, so quick to, which, you know, all helps running a building business and having a family and all the pressure that you have in a daily life, to sort of, you know, take that pause before you react. And then even now, like I'll use breath work, you know, for example, like have an argument with Christy because we've been in the office for too long together and it's just like, I need to get out. And just little things through the day, like, you know.
We'll get onto that in a minute because I know that's been another big win for you as well.
Yeah, and like just things with Justin, like talking to Justin about stuff like that, just the 5 rounds of 5, like has, you know, it's been unreal, like to sort of just take that break and take the gap, especially with 2 apprentices and like bit of breath work, and then you can come back and keep level-headed, you know.
It's so awesome, mate. That first one that you come to in Kingscliff with Justin was a pretty powerful session. But like he like doing those, he did that value exercise I think before that. Where we had to write them down like that because that's setting you up to think about that. Yeah,
it was pretty uncomfortable that whole weekend. Really, like it got us well out of our comfort zone. I left Kingscliff a new man. Like you sort of once you get pushed through that comfort zone of something that you think you would never do, like from the ice bars to the breath work and, you know, staring into another man's soul on the beach at 6 o'clock in the morning that Justin made us do with your partner on the beach. And it's just like, from those things it sort of grows and it's...
So I guess you've got to, like everyone's got excuses. And like you had only, like I said before, you'd only been with us 7 or 8 weeks or something, I think.
Yeah, but it was like 3 months or something like that, I think.
Yeah, but you would have only been with us probably a few weeks when we released that. So like you really like jumped in the deep end. You didn't really know anything.
I hesitated because like the same thing. It's that the imposter syndrome, especially like I suppose coming from a small town. On Instagram and social media, you see all the shit. You see the big builders, and you think like you're not even in that league to even have the conversation with them. And it was funny. Like I hesitated for a long time about even going to Kingscliff because of like. You sort of see the people on Instagram that have sort of, you know, had joined Elevate at that stage. Like it was pretty new, like a small group of builders, which was pretty cool. But it was the same thing, just the imposter syndrome of like I'm not even going to talk to them. Like why would they talk to me? That sort of stuff. But then you get there, I thought, fuck it, I'm going to go. Just what I've got to lose. And from the minute just meeting people like at the coffee shop, you know, down the road that you've seen do Friday wins or whatever, like, and the conversation was just like that weekend was unbelievable.
Yeah,
that sort of and just set me off of like getting really out of my comfort zone, just to go like, what can't you do? And it's sort of just you keep pushing, I suppose, that ceiling. But then it's those stories of, negative talk or self-belief start creeping back in. It's a constant battle. Like even now, like it's still like coming here today. It's like those voices start running through your head and you're just like, fuck, I'm like, nah, we're doing it. Like we're going,
You're here. It's time to smash it out.
Yeah.
I just mentioned before, like Christy, so that was a big goal of yours, wasn't it, to work in the family business?
Yeah, it was a big goal of mine. I don't know if it was hers.
But that's something that's been able to happen because you understand your overheads and like she's getting paid and all that
Yeah, and 100%. And like, I've heard you tell a story before, like even with Camille, like you think someone's in the office and you're not paying them. So like you got the jump. So you sort of, you've got free labour kind of thing. But I never even stopped for a minute to think about how that made her feel or anything like that for one. Like I think you sort of just expect it to sort of help out because you're on the tools all day, you're coming home, you're smashing out quotes. Like you're not going to bed till 11 o'clock most nights trying to do stuff. Either that or they feel sorry for you and they just but that's sort of where it started. And then like she was sort of doing, same thing nights and stuff like that. But once we sort of learnt about overheads and the overhead calculator and how to play with those numbers and sort of project that out with different jobs and things like that of how we can make that work. So then she jumped in for one day and she was at the school. She was doing 3 days a week at the school. And she was doing the canteen. Like her time was pretty well chewed up and then doing our stuff on top of that. So, and the frustration, I suppose, of that and then trying to learn that. But once we sort of did that and had like more discussion about it, so she's moved into sort of 2 days in the office now and having that overhead calculator, you can see, and like knowing for me, like I could take a pay cut, like on the third, like I'll have an office day Thursday and knowing that I could just pay myself less that day to get her in the office and understand that once you get your head around that and you can work with that to get her on board, bring more jobs in, help with the admin, that helps me bring more jobs in and you can start to allocate more costs for that and learning that was huge. And then
that is huge, mate, because that so many people struggle to get their head around that. Like the overhead calculator it's a tool to help you constantly adjust things.
Yeah.
And like for business growth, people question me all the time when I say every now and then I take a pay cut. Like you can't manage things if you don't know what's going on. But like you've just said, like you took a pay cut. Like when you understand the data in your business, it's very easy to go, all right, well, I'm just going to reduce my pay for the time being because that's going to cover this over here and then that'll help the business get to this level here and then I'll be able to pay myself more over here. Like
yeah, and it all becomes quite clear of like the steps you need to take and then sort of you can project those jobs out and think, well, how long is that going to take? Once that job sort of starts bringing in more cash flow, then we can bring her in for another day. And if I'm on a lower wage for my office day, like that is what it is until we can sort of build that up and just gives you gives you a lot of clarity around sort of what you can do. And sort of, and then that leads into conversations of like where she wants to be, like whether it's full-time in the office. I think she'd kill me if she was full-time in the office, but she works at the school 3 days a week in the office there. So, that's, she loves that, which is cool. So we make it work. And I think that leads into a lot of stuff, we've talked about before too, of I suppose like what you want your company to look like. And I never understood that until sort of recently about building our business around what I like doing or what she likes doing and things like that. Like that's only really come into play the last sort of 6 to 12 months of highlighting what I want to do. And it's taken me a while to sort of work out how to structure the business and like to be on site. So I have 2 apprentices. So for me to be on site 3 days a week, to be in the office 2 days a week, and make that balance and stuff, has been massive. Like,
so how do you make that work? Because there'll be a lot of people listening that going, how do you get the time away from site when you got a young team?
It was hard. Like Hutto's, he's third year and Blakey's first. So it's taken, like we're before, so the boys will go to TAFE on Thursday. So they can do on-site stuff, but I send them to, it's Wagga TAFE, so they're an hour away. So it started off just as their TAFE day. I would make that an office day. And then I was sort of dropping back because you can't leave them on site for the first year, 2 years. So it was more knock off a bit earlier, come home, do a few hours in the office, and then sort of you build that up. And I think when you're starting out, like you just got to do the hard yards. Like there's no two ways about it. Like you've got to do the long nights and all that. And then it was just as we build that up, because it's hard to get trades where we are too. So I've sort of made the decision to build our business from the ground up with the apprentices. and have that conversation around them staying on and things like that. But then it goes, I suppose, it's moved into that as Hudson's progressed into third year. It's given me more time, giving him, and I think me letting go as well, giving him more responsibility. Like he's just doing his first bathroom now. Like this
People learn very quickly.
Yeah.
Well, depending on what type of person they are, but a lot of people learn very quickly when you throw them in the deep end.
Yeah, and I had the tendency of like, like the old helicopter parent, like do it this way, do it this, and I was like, I found myself like giving him the answer before like him asking questions, I suppose. So I've sort of learnt, through Elevate, through reading books and things like that, of how to sort of structure that and teach him, and then give him more of the rope, more of the reins, and then sort of back off. And now it's like that has freed up so much more time in the office. And even now still, mate, like there's still like the last 2-3 months, like we've been going hard in the office. Like it's weekends. I haven't been in the office sort of 2 or 3 weekends in a row. But it's just a season. Like it's just jobs are changing over. There's things that we have to do. Like I said, we changed accountants, software, all that sort of stuff. So it's just scheduling the time and just doing it. Like even if it is a Saturday or a Sunday, like it's not forever. And just building that,
You got to do shit when it's got to be done, eh?
Yeah, and that's, and Christy and I talk about it all the time. Like we're happy to work a Saturday and a Sunday in the office, if that's going to give us, like a weekend away with the kids or more time with the kids. And the kids understand that too. Like they know, mum and dad are in the office, they're doing that so we can go and do other things. And like, that's been massive. Just structuring the time, I suppose, and then
getting that mindset around treating every day the same is massive.
Yeah.
Like, there's no weekends and weekdays. Like every day is the same.
No,
whatever day it is, you just got to get shit done, whatever needs to be done.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's the biggest thing is just there's no off days when you have a business. Like my brain doesn't stop. Like Chrissy reckons she can hear me thinking while I'm asleep. Like it doesn't.
Oh, that's the D and the I, mate, coming out.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, 100%.
But that's just, well, I guess, like, is it business? Like, is your brain not stopping just because of business? Because
No, it's never stopped. Like it's...
Yeah, and like for some people that's all right. Like people tell me I'm crazy because that's the case, but for me that's freedom. Like for me, sitting down somewhere quietly on my own for too long will drive me nuts.
Yeah, it's like a holiday on the beach. Like it's good for a couple of days, and then I'm like,
yeah, what are we doing?
Yeah, I need to go do something. It drives Christy crazy. Like we go on holidays, and I'm like, and me and my eldest daughter, we're quite similar. We want to go off adventure, go do this, that, and her and Willa just want to hang by the pool and like, just, you two go, like leave us alone. Like,
yeah.
But I think
it's mate. Like I said, I'm super proud of you. I've messaged you a few times and we've had some conversations. Like I just think it's unreal the effort you've put in and the growth that you've been able to have in whatever it's been, the 2.5, 3 years. And
3 years. Yeah,
I can tell, like you've just. You're currently doing your first new build, aren't you?
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
and that was a massive goal. Like like the thing for me is just to see you setting goals and reaching them. Like it's exciting. So it must be exciting for you and Christy.
Oh, it's amazing, and it's like that was a huge goal. Even when I first got my license, like that was just the end goal. Move away from doing small, and they're not shitty jobs. They are what they are. Like they get you to where you need to be, but to move into the new builds and just extensions, and I suppose to be really known for that, like where we live. And I think, through the content and stuff like that, to show people the other side of like using a custom builder as opposed to a volume builder, things like that have just, it's been huge. But like you say, mate, those goals, like, I think you talk about all the time, like taking your foot off the gas. Like I still remember like pouring the slab and just sitting there like on the trailer, like looking at it like, and I think reflecting and taking in those moments is like really important because I think if you don't, like the next goal like is there and it's like you don't take the time to sort of reflect and sort of look back to where you've been. And I think that gap and gain mentality, I suppose, like getting stuck in that and not being in the gain and sort of realising and looking back to where you've been and sort of always looking forward to the next goal. Like, because it's like you're chasing the sunset. Like it's, if you don't enjoy it.
Off topic, mate, just a question on your slab there. I'm pretty sure I saw it on your Insta. Did you purchase some macro brackets?
We did, mate, yeah. I've got that off your social media, actually.
They're bloody good, eh?
Oh, mate, they're unreal.
The guys put a big load of gear on one of the trucks yesterday and it was outside here and I was unloading it last night and I was unloading the macro brackets. Like, shit, I'm going to ask Todd tomorrow if he... I'm sure I saw those macca brackets on his video.
Yeah, mate, they were unbelievable. Like, even the boys are like, this is unreal. Like, where'd you get this from? I said, I saw it on, like, Duayne's social media.
Oh, mate, it's not one of my secrets. I saw them on someone else's social media. We've had them for years now, but
They're unreal. Like,
they make life so much easier.
And everything, like, like my man, like, same thing as a builder. Like, we did everything from the ground up. Like, back from the old days, you do the footing, brick it up, put the infill in, all that. Like, done all those types of slabs. And, like, it's just always the pegs, the outriggers, the elbow. I'm like, fuck, there's got to be a better way. And I looked at other ones, but they were just, like, they were really expensive. Where macca bracket, like, they're really well priced.
Mate, they last
shout
forever.
out for a discount on the next lot of macca brackets. But, yeah, like, they were brilliant. And, like, that ground where we're working is, like, it is the hardest. We have to use, like, a post hole, a petrol post hole
driver
to get the pegs in. Like, it was,
right.
But... yeah, mate, they're unreal.
Off topic, but yeah, they are a good thing. So, mate, where's TKM? Like, where you heading? What's your goals? Like, I know, like, well, actually, on top of that, I know we're going a little bit around in circles, but a lot of people struggle because they think that the town they're in or that where they live, this shit's not going to work.
Yeah.
I know we touched on it just a little bit before, but like, you've really just smashed that fucking mentality out of the park, haven't you?
Yeah. And I think, like, we talked about it before, and it was like, it honestly goes back to that conversation I had with Amelia that weekend. Like, she just hit me with the hard truth of just like what was I really afraid of. And it's judgment, I think, like, of other people, the small town. Like, it's never been done any other way. And I think, like, you've said it a million times, like, the construction industry is so broken from design to, like, people just don't know what they don't know. And it's like, I think that's the biggest thing. And it held me back for a long, long time. Even after that conversation with Amelia, like, I didn't want to admit it, or like, it was hard to sort of, I suppose, take action on it. To do that first post on social media and put that up was like, it was cringy, but like, it was like that step, I suppose. And it was, once you post it, it's out there. And I suppose it's just the small town sort of thing. I've talked to Matty, from Emma's Constructions about it before. He's in a small town as well, and it is hard. It's a hard hurdle to get over, but I think once you just do it and you just stop really caring about what people think, and it's like, honestly, mate, like, probably a big moment for me was like when my grandmother passed away a few years ago. Like, I thought about that moment, and it sort of helped me a lot in that about what people sort of think of you, and sort of watch someone come into the last years of their life, and like, you think about all those things that you didn't do because of what someone would say or what you thought was going to happen, or like the worry about it.
Yeah.
I think that sort of like helped me a lot, and just biting the bullet and just going like, fuck it, like, I don't really care what they think anymore. Like,
so how's the social media work for you? Because that's the same thing. Like, a lot of people think social media is not going to work in a small town, but you're having success with it.
Yeah, and it's funny. Like, we dropped off. We started pumping the socials, doing a lot of. We do all our own, so make all our stuff through Canva, just post the reels and do all that sort of stuff. And I didn't really pay attention to it, but there was a big uptick in sort of inquiry, and I saw that was just the ebb and flow of it. But I have noticed now, like, once we sort of stopped doing socials, or like, we took sort of 6 months off. Even my daughter was saying, Dad, like, you haven't done anything for 6 months, like, smarten up. But like, once we sort of started doing the content on the new build, like, the inquiries just picked right back up. And it's just, I think we were talking about it sort of before we started, the podcast, like, just about, they're just like keeping it raw and real. I think like people see that much bullshit on social media. I think they're happy to see someone just bang themselves.
Everyone thinks it's got to be all the fluffed up pillows, the finished projects.
Yeah. And we get the most feedback from those posts. And like, it was funny, like, once we sort of started doing that, and like, Narrendra's a small town, like, we've talked about that. We had like people just in the street, in the supermarket, like, out walking the dog, like, mate, like, loving your content. Like, just, it's awesome to see someone just showing behind the scenes, like, just the shit that you don't see, like, putting insulation in the walls. Like, we had like so much feedback about an insulation video, like, it's hilarious. So, but yeah, and I think like it works, like, small town. I've talked to a few of the boys in the elevator about it, like, just do it. Like, it definitely works.
So do you get involved in your community? Like, do you support any sporting groups or schools?
Yeah, so we do sponsor the local footy club and netball club and stuff like that, which Yeah, we sort of donate as much as we can. Like I'm not really involved that much with the footy club. I coached my daughter's under 14 netball team this year, which is a bit different.
But it's a full circle, isn't it? Like so
It
you're
is, yeah.
like you educating your community on the building work you're doing and then showing up in signage or at events.
Yeah.
Like it's just building your brand.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, and I think it's massive. Like exactly what you said. It's not about it's building the brand and building, I suppose, the trust. And I think being real, like on our social videos and things like that, just me being who I am and doing a video. Like I don't change the person I am on socials compared to the person you meet at the supermarket. I think people really resonate with that, and I think like. And even though being a small town, like you don't know everybody, but like people sort of get to know you through those videos. So by the time you have the first meeting, like they're talking to you like they've known you for ever anyway.
they build a relationship.
Yeah.
And you don't even know it.
Yeah, it's powerful. Like it's helped the business grow. Like I think, and it's funny like to think back to that when we first changed our logo and everything. I did an online course with a company that did the logo. Just a social media, just sort of basically learn about Instagram and things like that. And she said from day one, she's just like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, as in what? She's like, building wise, like, what are the projects you want to do? And I said, like, new homes extensions. She said, just talk about that. She said, if you don't want to do bathrooms, if you don't want to do this, she said, don't do videos on that. She said, post content about what you want to do. And I was like, I don't think that'll work. That won't work. And like, she was 100% right. Once we sort of start pushing that, I suppose, of the work that you want to do, you know, the sort of, you know, like we were talking about before, the universe just sort of works in funny ways and sort of starts to open doors and those jobs start coming up. And I think it's just the trust. Like people see you around town, they see the signage, they see the socials. You start to build that rapport with people and that trust, and that just leads to, you know, these projects that we want to do, like new homes and extensions.
It's powerful stuff. Like people don't understand. Like for anybody out there that's scrolling through social media, like you stop when something resonates with you.
Yeah.
And it's the same for people looking for a builder. Like, so getting that personal connection or building that relationship online is a new word of mouth, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
And even if people are still getting referred the old-fashioned way, the first thing they're going to do once that conversation's finished is go home, jump online, see if you've got an Instagram page, and start following you.
Yeah.
But everyone will have. Like I think this really excites me, and I think more builders and tradies need to take advantage of it, like or understand it. Every single person will have something different that they see value in.
Yep.
So like every video you do, like someone might not care so much about the slab, but like to them the insulation's super important. And if you're the only builder in your area that's done a video on insulation, guess who they're going to reach out to?
That's right.
Like
Yeah.
So the more video and the more content you put out there on every part of the build, and I've talked about this before, like you're going to attract like-minded clients that are coming to you because of what you're going to deliver, which means they're not going to question the price as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really believe that these builders out there and tradies that are just showing the finished product are creating their own problems.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And then or no socials at all. Like, and that's, you know, we're the only builder in town that does like social media. You know, and like there's plenty of work. Like the guys have always got work. Like the other builders I know in town, like always have work. But I think it's the work that you want to do, and I think it like as exactly what you said. Like it leads to that, and it attracts those people, attracts the clients that you want to work with. You know, I've heard you talk about it before. Like, you know, there's not one client that we've worked for that we've had a falling out with, or like it's, you know, we could go back and have a barbecue with them. Like, you know, you see them at the pub, have a beer with them. Like that's the way it sort of works now, like with, you know, all the jobs that we do, because we attract that type of client. Like it's
that's success, isn't it? Like when you're in control of the people you're working for, like that's success.
Yeah.
Like if you're stuck in that mindset that you, like as you said before, your scarcity, you're taking on every phone call that comes your way, every inquiry that comes your way. That's when you're going to take on jobs just because you think you have to keep the cash flow going.
Yeah.
And they're going to be the clients that are going to give you grief, give you a hard time, take a lot of management.
Yeah.
But also the ones that are more likely to probably come back after the job's finished and complain about defects or things going wrong because there's no personal connection there.
No. No, and like it's funny, like, you know, I'm not like bagging at my old man or anything like that, but just like hearing him like talk about that, like shit clients, like, and it's not, I don't think it's the client's fault. Like, yes, you know, there's different personalities that like we've learnt with Helen. Like, I think you clash with different people, but I think a lot of them, if you're like not explaining a lot of things to the client and just assuming a lot of things, like you don't know what you don't know, and I think that leads to so many problems and things like that. Like it's
Well, a lot of people don't create an environment where the clients feel comfortable enough to be able to ask things. And so the next thing you know, that it's too late. Like something's been done, installed, purchased, whatever, differently to what their expectations were.
Yeah.
Because there was the relationship wasn't there to be able to educate them or have the weekly site meetings or give them a detailed enough proposal. Like, as you say, assumptions. Like a lot of people make assumptions.
Yeah. And I've said this to clients, even our current client, like I'm more than happy to explain things 10 times. Like if I can't explain it in a way where you understand it, like I'll explain it again. Like until you understand sort of what we're doing or the choices that you're making.
Yeah.
Like once it's in there, it's too late. So I'm more than happy to have the conversation now and like we can work it out. And I think it's been a big thing too, like communication. Like probably the last 6 to 12 months, I've really sort of worked on that and the way that I explain things and describe things and things like that about people that aren't really visual. Like we do it every day. So like clients, especially it's 90% of clients can't really sort of picture what you want to talk about. So it's definitely communication is a big thing and working through that.
Awesome, mate. Well, we'll start to wrap it up. But for, I guess, anyone that's listening or out there that may be considering going out their own or possibly is having troubles in their business at the moment, what advice you got for them?
Get some coaching, I think, is probably the first thing. And we were like, I didn't think we could afford it. It sounds like a big sort of price tag to start with, but once you sort of realise through the coaching, the help that you can get sort of highlights so many things that you're doing wrong, like that you make that money back in no time at all, and sort of what that will highlight. I think reach out, ask questions, like on people on social media that you follow, that you look up to, like ask them. There's anyone that's sort of doing, stuff that you want to do, like 90% of the time they're going to get back to you and sort of help you out because they're keen to help other people that are keen to learn. So,
like I said, mate, I'm really proud of you. I think just keep smashing it. I'm keen to see where
cheers,
where
mate.
you guys end up. We'll be spending a bit of time together in about 6 or 7 months. You're coming on the Kokoda track.
I am, mate. Yep, I'm just started my training, so it's going to be a long few months of training, but I'm pumped for it. I can't wait.
I'm pretty keen. We got a really, really good bunch of guys going.
Yeah,
so
it'll be a laugh in between the crying up and down the hills, but it'll be it'll be a good time. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Are you like being a D or being very similar to me in the disc profile? Do you need challenges to have something to aim for?
Yeah, 100%. I think I was talking to Helen about that not long ago. It was I would probably set myself too many challenges, and I had the conversation with Helen about it, and it was more like I would set too many challenges for myself and then beat myself up that I couldn't quite achieve those things, and I like throw it all away and like fuck like. But she said, have you ever thought about like maybe the way that you do it and things like that? And it's more, I've come up with the thing now of like creating a menu for myself, like where I can just pick things out of that menu instead of trying to do everything. Because I always have a list and the list just keeps growing. You're like, fuck. And we talked about it before, like to reach those goals, like you want to sort of, enjoy it for a minute before the next one. But I seem to just keep starting new projects before we...
Explain the menu thing more.
So instead of like, I have a list of like, say, my morning routine, for example, like get up, I stretch because like as you get older, like I need to stretch more, like just to get moving for the day. Stretch, walk, like all those things I do in the morning. Like if I don't do all those things before, like if I was slept in or whatever, like it would annoy me for the rest of the day. But now I just create a menu, like they're a menu instead of a task list. So if I just get my stretching done, cool. Like that's one thing I ticked off for the day. Like, and then that's what I just build on that through the day. And then same thing at night time. Like as I wind down at night, like if I don't write stuff down the night before, like I'll go to bed thinking about it.
Yeah.
So now I just, do this and I wind down, read my book. Like if I read my book or do whatever I do, like I'll just pick one or two things instead of trying to do so many things. And I've found that through like work as well. Apples has been good for that. Like, writing the list and highlighting what's most important. And if I can achieve sort of 80% of the day with those things. So that's menu things like that now, sort of just trying to do it all. It's been huge.
And that, mate, it just comes back to you got to find out what works for you, eh? Like,
yeah, 100%.
We're all different.
Yeah, and like whether it's personal or business, like once you sort of learn that and try to adapt everything to suit what you want to do, and then like you've talked about it before, like then that becomes success for you, like which is different for me, for you. Like it's everyone's sort of idea of success is different. Instead of trying to live up to someone else's idea of it, which I did for a long time, until sort of got comfortable in my own skin to sort of know what I want to achieve, what I want to do for my life and my family. That's been, yeah.
You do seem very content now. Like the last event we did, you seem very just humble.
I'm happy, mate, yeah. And it's like, and I think we talked about it before, you know, like if you're doing all these things, like making $1 million a year, like if you're not happy, like what's the point? Like, but I think just through the work I've done, like, but a lot of reflecting, a lot of, you know, changing the way I think about things, the stories, all that sort of stuff, letting go of a lot of things has, just made me content. And I think like finding my idea of what success is for me and sort of what I want to achieve has allowed me to let go of so much baggage, I suppose you would call it, and just sort of achieve what I want to achieve. So I'm happy, mate. Like, got a good family, got an amazing wife. Shout out to Christy. Like, I wouldn't be where I am without her. Like, she's amazing. So
yeah, no, you are very lucky, mate. You're a great couple. It's a pleasure seeing you when you both rock up to Live Like Build events. And
we love it.
Yeah, definitely super proud of both of you, and mate, appreciate your time, taking the time out to fly up here and come on the podcast today. So
appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Guys, as always, like, share, subscribe, all the things. Make sure you go to duaynepearce.com and check out the merchandise. If you want to keep supporting the Level Up movement, I want to see tradies, builders everywhere in Australia wearing the Level Up gear. So look, as always, if you've got questions, if you want to know something about something that I do or that I say, I'm happy to help you out wherever I can. If you want to come on the podcast, let us know. We'll reach out, we'll have a conversation. But we really appreciate you helping continue to make this Australia's #1 construction podcast. We'll see you on the next one. All right, guys, I want to introduce you to a really exciting new product that I believe is going to play a massive role in Australia building healthier homes. As you all know, I am extremely passionate about healthy homes, and I'm doing a lot of research and putting a lot of time and effort into making sure my construction business is leading the way when it comes to building healthy homes here in Australia. We've teamed up with the guys from Highwood Timber. Highwood Timber are pioneering condensation management with their high-flow ventilated LVL batten system. High-flow battens give builders a stronger, straighter and smarter way to create a ventilated cavity behind cladding and underneath roofs, without compromising on structural performance. While tackling condensation to improve building health and ease of installation, Highwood battens are built to perform. When it comes to dealing with condensation and ventilation, high-flow battens will help you create continuous ventilated cavities behind all your cladding and underneath your roof sheeting. They reduce condensation risk and support healthier, longer-lasting buildings. Being an engineered LVL product, they are stronger, straighter, and more dimensionally stable than a solid material such as pine. This helps resist warping, twisting, and shrinkage, ensuring more consistent installs, less prone to splitting than solid timber. Highwood Timber battens are precisely manufactured, meaning that your installation will be faster and easier than other products on the market. The part that I like the most about these battens are they are H3 treated for long-term protection against decay and termites. They use a waterborne H3 treatment which reduces reactivity with membranes and adhesives when compared to LOSP. These are the exact battens that you want to be using on your homes and your builds if you are considering building healthier homes or passive homes. Check them out, Highwood Timber Products.
Are you ready to build smarter, live better and enjoy life? Then head over to livelikebuild.com/elevate to get started.
Everything discussed during the Level Up podcast with me, Duayne Pearce, is based solely on my own personal experiences and those experiences of my guests. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for general information only, and any reliance on the information provided in this podcast is done at your own risk. We recommend that you obtain your own professional advice in respect to the topics discussed during this podcast.